Welcome to yoga in Sedona, Arizona. Let's begin by climbing that invisible ladder, getting a good stretch, and come halfway down. And back up, loosening up our shoulders and our back. Climbing that invisible ladder, getting a good stretch, both sides. Put our palms together and go back and forth, ears touching the biceps. And we separate our hands, bend the forearm, pull back on that elbow, and do the other side. This helps open up our shoulders. One more time. And then we swing our arms in big circles, both directions. Again, opening up our shoulders. And we bring our arms out front and crisscross, eliminating the teacher arms that we're so familiar with. Scissors with our arms, bringing our arms out to the side, turn all the way to the left, and then all the way to the right, keeping our feet stationary. We come back to center, bring the right arm across and pull back with the other hand, feeling a good stretch in that shoulder, and then we do the other side. And then we do some high stepping, a little aerobics here to get the heart moving a little bit. Try to bring your knees up as far as you can. We put our hands on our hips and then bring our thigh around and forward. This is called opening the gate. It is a balanced posture, but it also opens the pelvis. Then we pick up one foot, bring it to the side, spin that ankle, bringing the thigh to the side, spinning that ankle, and then we go to the other leg, bring that thigh out to the side, spin that ankle. Then we bring up the foot, place it on the opposite knee, and put your hands wherever are best for you to balance. And we go to the other leg, do the same thing. Place that foot above the opposite knee and hands wherever is best for you to balance. Breathing through the nose, in and out through the nose. And we climb that invisible ladder again, getting a big stretch in the shoulders. At this time, we come all the way down, bring in that fresh air, push the rest of it up, and we come into chair or utkatasana on our toes. And if you are able, you can roll back on the sides of your feet, from your toes to your heels. Very good balanced posture. And then we come forward with our arms, one leg back, but this is Warrior 3. And just come back as far as you are able without losing your balance. And we come back and then Warrior 3 with the other leg back. and come forward. And then we come back and we do rocking horse. Just come forward on your front foot and back. Watch your balance. Called rocking horse. And then we lead with the other foot. And again, we climb that invisible ladder. Take one arm, wrap it around the other, bring the fingertips nose height, bend our knees into eagle or garasana. We pick up the right thigh, place it over the left. This helps flush your lymph system. And then we do the other side, wrap on the other side, bring the fingertips down, nose height, bend our knees. And then bring the left over the right and squeeze. Squeeze our upper arms and thighs together. Release. Come back to hands on hips and let's turn our heads from the left all the way to the right, opening our mouths as wide as we can. We carry a lot of stress and tension in our facial muscles. Opening our mouth like this relieves a lot of that tension, and turning our heads increases the range of motion in our neck. And now we're doing the same thing, forward and back in the center. And then in small circles, both directions. And then we climb that invisible ladder again, getting a big stretch. And we come all the way down, blow it out, bring in that fresh air, push the rest of it back, and step into Warrior Two. Front knee should be slightly bent, and we drop the back hand to our hamstring and look up for Reverse Warrior. Breathing now in through the nose, out through the nose. We come back to Warrior Two, bend that front elbow, drop it to the front knee for side angle. And we come back, bringing our palms together, elbows parallel to the floor for Prayerful Warrior. And come across our body, placing the elbow on the knee. And we come back to Warrior Two. And we drop that front hand to the inside of our front foot for triangle. And we come back. This time we drop the front hand 8 inches in front of the front foot for half moon or star, raising the back leg off of the mat, balancing on our front arm and front foot. And we come back. Palms together and start our lunges. Come down as you are comfortable. This is a very important exercise in getting out of chairs and couches without having to push yourself up. And then we step back to the center, climbing that invisible ladder. Come all the way down, blow it out, bring in that fresh air, push the rest up, and we go back into Warrior Two on the other side, dropping that back hand to our hamstring, looking up for Reverse Warrior. And then we come back, bending that front forearm, dropping it to our front knee for side angle. And come on back up. Bringing our palms together, forearms parallel to the floor, we turn toward the front, dropping this elbow to the opposite knee. Look across your body for prayerful warrior. And we come on back up. And then we drop that front hand to the inside of the front foot for triangle. Trikonasana. And come back up. Drop that front hand 8 inches in front of the front foot, lifting the back foot for half moon or star. And we come on back up, bringing our palms together, beginning our lunges on this side. Come down as deep as you can. And we bring our arms out to the side. Bend at the elbow for cactus. Bring palms and elbows together. Reach up and look up. Then we release our hands, join behind our back, and bring our upper body parallel to the floor while we lift our hands away from our back, feeling a nice stretch in the shoulders. And release, come back up, hands on our hips. We pick up the right leg, place it down, do a squat. Pick up the left leg, place it down, and do a squat. And repeat. These are good exercises for golf, pickleball, tennis, anything where you have to start and stop quickly and safely. Strengthen your knees, your quads. Then arms back out to the side, back into cactus, palms together, elbows together, and we bend our knees even more, coming into Buddha squat. And we go from the left to the right, touching the right elbow to the right knee, left elbow to the left knee, staying down in the squat position. Engage your core here, feel your stomach muscles. More than half of this video is core work to build up core strength in the stomach and lower back. And we come on back up. Bringing our hands behind our back and our upper body forward and lift up. We come down to our back knee, bring our hands behind our back, and bring our shoulder down to the front knee for humble warrior. Drop that hand closest to the front foot, raise the other arm, and then we switch arms. And then we switch legs, hands together, overhead. Then we bring our hands behind our back, bringing our shoulder to the top of that knee. Drop the hand closest to the front foot, raise the other arm, and then switch arms. And we come back onto that back foot for a nice runner stretch. You can use a block here if you need to. Be careful of your knees in this one. And we switch out legs and come into a runner stretch on the other side. Wiping away the dirt from our mat that we have here in beautiful, sunny Sedona, Arizona. Now we come to our knees. Palms together. And we reach as far forward as we can for Balasana or Child's Pose. And we move our hands together to the left, getting a nice stretch in the right rib cage. And then to the right, getting a nice stretch in the right rib cage. Then we bring our hands back to center for one final stretch here in the center. And we push up to tabletop and begin our push-ups in a tabletop position. And we do between 10 and 12 of these. Then we raise the right arm and extend the left leg for bird dog and touch down to the floor or ground as we lift up. And if you want to bring your wrist into the opposite knee for a little mountain climber thrown in there, you can do that as well. And then we do the same thing on the other side. The left arm goes out straight, the right leg, and drop to the floor, touch and lift back up. And again, you can bring that wrist into the opposite knee for a mini mountain climber. Very, very effective for core strength, building our core. And then we raise the right arm and bring it through, threading the needle. Come down to your shoulder, the side of your head, and with your left arm for support, extend that back leg straight out. Same side, and come back and raise the left arm. Bring that underneath, come down to the side of your head, and using that right arm for support, we extend that right leg straight back. And then we come back to tabletop. We push up into down dog, walking our feet back and forth, walking the dog. We extend the right leg once, we extend it twice. And the third time we bring that knee in between our hands, coming into pigeon. And if you care to reach back and pull forward that back foot for king pigeon, you can do that. And then we push back up into down dog, walking the dog again. And this time we extend the left leg once. Bring it back, extend it twice, bring it back. The third time we bring that knee in between our hands, coming onto our forearms for pigeon on this side. And if we care to reach back with that right hand and pull back on the right foot for king pigeon, we can do that. And we push back into tabletop and do our cat-cow, where we drop our navel and look up and then arch our back, looking between our knees. This is called cat-cow. It helps keep our spine lubricated, loose, driving synovial fluid to our vertebrae and our neck. And then we take a little water break. And we come back to tabletop, beginning our side thrust with the right leg. This is called hydrant. This is the beginning of the next 3 exercises, which they call Mackenzie exercises, which are exercises to strengthen the lower back. Then we bring the foot back for donkey, pulse up in the air, pulse that foot up in the air. And if you care to bring that knee into the same side elbow every now and then, strengthening the core, you may do that. And then we straighten that leg and touch down to the back corners of our mat for rainbow. Also strengthening the lower back. And then we begin the same sequence on the other side, lifting that left leg out to the side for hydrant. And then we bring that thigh back and pulse up in the air for donkey. And we can bring that knee into the same side elbow every so often if we care to. Or just pulse back. Then we straighten that leg and touch down to the back corners of our mat for rainbow. And back to tabletop, where we sit back and see how far we can go back, sitting on our heels into camel. And then we come forward on our mat, onto our forearms, into a front plank. On your toes and your forearms. If you need to start on your knees, that's okay. And then come back onto your forearms. And if you want to push up into seal from Cobra and Sphinx that we were in, you may do that. And we come back into airplane or Superman, your choice. I'll count to 3 and we lift our chest up off of the mat and then back down. 1, 2, 3. Lift up again. Good. And come down. Now we reach back, grabbing the outsides of our feet for bow pose. And we're going to kick into our hands and lift up like a bow and arrow ready to strike. And then come down, take a breath, and then kick back up and then down. Very good. And we roll over to either side, beginning our side leg lifts. And you can bring that knee to your chest every so often if you care to do that. Then we raise the lower leg, touching our feet together, and open and close at the knee, lifting our legs off of the mat. This is called clamshell. It is a Pilates move and very, very good for the core. Inside of the legs, outside of the legs, exercising muscles that we don't use that much. And then we push into a side plank onto our forearm and our toes, side of our feet. Come back down and roll on to the other side, beginning our leg lifts on this side. Then we pick up that lower foot, touching our feet together as a hinge, opening and closing at the knee for clamshell. Strengthening the muscles on the inside of the leg and calf and the outside muscles. We don't use that much. Then we straighten our legs on our side, push up into a side plank on this side, on your forearm and the sides of your feet. And then we come back around to a seated position with our heels at the front of the mat, arms up, come far forward as we can, getting a nice stretch. Then we bring our soles of our feet together and come forward for another hip opener. And then we bring our arms behind us, fingers facing away, and push up for a rear plank. And we pulse a little bit here. And come down. Now we pick up the left foot, placing it on the outside of the right knee. Bring the right arm back for support and go into a spine twist. We come back to center and do the same thing on the other side. Push away with the left arm, the right arm, or the left arm comes back for support and turn back as far as you can. Come back to center. And then in boat pose, we balance on our hips and lift our feet off of the ground, and we can do the Ukrainian twist or just hold it here, or do some strokes as we come down back to sitting. And we place our heels about a foot close to our hips with our hands flat on the mat right next to our hips, and we slide our fingertips down to touch our heels from our hips. This exercises the very tiny muscles in the first layer of the core. The muscles around our bladder, rectum, the area that we rarely exercise. This does it. Slide those fingertips down from your hips to your heels. Then we bring our calves parallel to the floor or the ground, and we touch one foot at a time to the ground, to our mat. This is called dipping in the water. Pilates strengthens the core. We bring our calves back to parallel and bring our arms straight up from our shoulders. This is called dead bug pose. We extend the right arm and the left leg, and then the left arm and the right leg get extended. Very West Coast popular exercise to do now. All the pretty people in Hollywood are doing this exercise, so if you want to be a pretty person, this is what you need to do right here. It looks hard, but once you get used to it, it is not. And it's very, very good for the core. And back down. Now we push up into bridge onto our shoulders, and we pulse up and down, up and down. And we lift our right leg straight up and bend that foot toward and away from our face. This stretches our piriformis muscle, stretches our sciatica. A good move to use anytime you have leg pain, whether it's varicose vein caused or it doesn't really matter. That's a good exercise to relieve leg pain. And we do it now with the other leg extended, bending that foot toward and away from our face. And bringing both feet down, keeping our knees bent and our shoulders on the mat. We flop from the left to the right with our knees. This is called windshield wiper. It is actually a spine twist. Important that we keep our shoulders square on the mat and roll only at the hips. And then we extend our legs and bring up one knee at a time. Grab underneath the knee with both hands intertwined. Pull back as far as you can around the rib cage. And then the other leg, same thing. Pull back as far as you can. Then we bring up both knees and pull back. You can rock back and forth here if you'd like. Do happy baby. And we extend our legs on the mat, picking up our heels no more than 8 inches off the ground, beginning our scissors, alternately one leg on top of the other, back and forth. Feel the strength in your core. Extend those core muscles, engage those core muscles. Don't go too high off of the ground. 8 inches is about all you need to go to give that core the work. Then we go into bicycle. Again, not bringing our legs up too high. Still only about 8 inches off of the floor or the ground or your mat. Another very good for the core. And we come down, arms by our side for Savasana. You've worked very hard. Now it's time to just let everything go. Concentrate only on your breathing, deep breathing in through the nose, out through the nose, and also concentrate on how great your body feels after this workout. And it's always my pleasure to bring you this class. I'm honored and privileged to be a part of your life. We touch our thumbs to our third eye. May our thoughts always be kind. Our lips, may our words always be necessary. And to our heart center, may our hearts always be filled with love. Peace, shalom, shante, shante, namaste.